Today, I'm turning Southampton, an average team, to the world's best. And in order to do that, I need to win the Champions League. And yes, boys, this is the Southampton side we will be taking over. And a little fun fact, they're actually my favorite team in Europe. But sadly, they're garbage. I miss the days of having the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, and even James Ward-Prowse. Now we're stuck with reject strikers who don't score any goals, man. However, being in the Championship isn't Southampton's only problem. Throughout this entire takeover, we're gonna consistently have the same three problems. But don't worry, eventually, they will be solved. The first problem, of course, is having terrible recruitment. You know how crazy it is to sign a total of 45 players and not a single one has scored 10 goals. We need to make sure we make good signings here. This club's biggest signing this season is a 73 rated goalkeeper who plays for Bayern, and he's only here on loan. But their second problem is their most well known is that players always want to leave once they step up a level. Players like Van Dijk, Sadio Mane, and even Tyler Dibbling this summer have left to bigger clubs because Southampton are just not consistent enough. Just take a look at the highest rated player at the club. It is Aaron Ramsdale. Because we're in the Championship, he wanted to go out on loan and probably will leave permanently at the end of his term. And the third and final problem is this club has absolutely no pool because they've basically not won any trophies. If you take a look at all these players, a lot of them are new signings, but most of them didn't even come from a top 5 league. This club has zero pool. But don't you worry, there are ways to solve this problem, but I'll let you guys know that in just a second. The first thing we need to do is establish a new playstyle here with Southampton, and it's definitely not gonna be 3 at the back. And the formation I will be going with is the 4-4-1-1 midfield. And this is because Southampton's pinnacle in footballing history is this formation they used against Inter Milan in the Europa League, where they actually won. And I can't lie, with this new formation, this squad is looking absolutely incredible. But of course, we're a long way from winning the Champions League. We first need to get to the Premier League. But before we go ahead and discuss signings, I meet one-on-one with the board and they say, "Welcome to the club, Mr. Salinas. You have taken a very difficult job as this club is on the decline. We hope that you can take us back to the Premier League. Thank you for hiring me. I've supported this club since I was a kid, and I plan to do the impossible and taking this club one day to the Champions League. But boys, it would not be easy. We do have 20 million to spend. And to keep things realistic, we're only allowed to sign players who is the same overall as the highest rated, which is currently Larin at a 75 overall. And I think the first position we need to sign is a brand new center back to play next to Harwood Bellis. And why not go for the best 75 overall that is available? That is Gerald Kwanzaa playing for Bayer Leverkusen. He literally won the Premier League last year, and he does fit our budget, but it would cost us all of our money. However, he has rejected us. This is where our major problems come in. He basically comes into my office and says, "I appreciate the offer, but there's no chance I'm going to one of the worst clubs in the Championship and in Prem history. How dare you disrespect me like that?" And yes, boys, I did mention these 3 problems we have are not solvable within this first season and could last until the very end of this challenge. But like I said, there is ways to fix them. I mentioned problem number 1, Southampton do not make good signings. That won't affect us too much, but in order to solve that problem, which I want to do, is by having a Ballon d'Or winner here at Southampton. The second problem is our best players leaving for bigger clubs, and that is going to continuously happen to us until we win the Premier League. And the third and final problem, which is exactly why Kwanzaa won't join us, is to go ahead and win a major trophy, whether it's the FA Cup, Conference League, or anything above that. So signing players like Kwanzaa is just not going to be available until we win Southampton's first ever trophy. But luckily, I found somebody who is willing to join for 16 million. Samson Bayadu from RC Lens. At a 75 overall, he has 83 potential. I'm shocked we were able to get him out of League One. And now with the signing of Samson Bayadu, our squad is looking much better. But our budget has tanked. We only have 2 million. I could probably only afford the trash players like Jesse Lingard at this point. And luckily, we might be able to make one more signing if we can sell all of these players. And yes, boys, I was able to sell all of the players on the transfer list, which has given us a total of 17 million. We almost regained our budget for at least one more signing. And taking a look at this team, I can't lie, it's pretty solid, but it's not ready to win the Championship. Maybe a brand new striker, Cam, or left mid or right mid will definitely maybe get us to the Premier League. And boys, hear me out. What if we can convince Mikey Moore to sign on a permanent with Southampton? I know he's out on loan, but we can convince Tottenham to go ahead and cancel it. And we can promise Mikey Moore that we can develop him. And in the future, we can sell him on to a bigger club or maybe even back to Tottenham. But before I can even make an offer, a player we are familiar with comes into my office, and it's Tyler Dibbling. He says, "Look, Mr. Salinas, I've read a lot about you and you are very ambitious. I know I betrayed the club by leaving to Everton, but I want to come back and play under you." And just like that, for 17 million, Tyler Dibbling is returning to Southampton. I took a huge risk bringing back one of the players who left because they thought they were better than the club. I hope this doesn't backfire, and I hope he doesn't end up leaving again, because he is one of the most talented players to ever come out of the Southampton Academy. And there we go. Tyler Dibbling is now in the starting 11. He can play on that right-hand side, possibly possibly on the left, and maybe in the future we can move him down to the 10 position. Of course, if he stays long enough. And I'm very happy with the signings we have made this season. The only position I'm not happy with is the striker and the goalkeeper position, because they're only here on loan and probably won't stay. However, Jay Robinson is another young talent that came from the Southampton Academy. I wouldn't be surprised if he fights his way to the starting 11 in the next couple seasons. And of course, I've hired the best scouts possible and have given absolutely everybody a development plan, because we're a long way from winning the Champions League, but also fixing all of the problems. Starting next year, I'm very confident that a lot of players are going to want to leave, and we're still going to struggle to bring in some signings. And wow, just take a look at the team at the end of the season. The goalkeeper, Perez, has gone up to an 81. Oh, boys, this guy's definitely not going to sign on a permanent deal. But players like Tyler Dibley at a 79, Finn Azaz at a 76. However, something interesting, Kyle Larin is no longer at the club. Did he cancel his loan? But hey, at least Jay Robinson is at a 70. And 16 goals and 7 assists for Finn Azaz, but 16 goals from Jay Robinson. Oh my days, boys. Larin canceled his loan and this guy came in clutch. Wow, Casper Yander had a brilliant season. 23 assists is nuts. Our players are definitely talented enough to get us to the Prem. And yes, boys, they have done it. We're going back to the Premier League. Unlike in real life, we've dominated the championship. And we even got some players in the team of the season. I've done a brilliant job so far. But I'm telling you right now, this guy is definitely not joining on a permanent. Some of these players will probably want to leave the club. We need to make sure we make the right signings next year so we don't relegate. To kick off season number 2, we already lose some players. Aaron Ramsdale has joined Newcastle on a permanent. Sugawara has joined Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga. But of course, like I mentioned, Perez is now gone from the club, but luckily, we still have Bazunu here at the team. However, the board brings me into their office and say, we've gotten a couple players who've handed in transfer requests, but also some players we want to sell because we've gotten some good offers. And those players are Taylor Harwood-Bellis, Casper Yander, and Finn Azaz will be leaving the club. I say, man, this sucks. I saw this coming, but I'm losing the 3 best players in our team last year, plus losing Perez, who went back to Bayern. This is not good, man. So there we have it, boys. Taylor Harwood-Bellis has joined Bournemouth for 30 million. Casper Yander has joined Forest for 30 million as well, while Finn Azaz has left to Leeds United on a 50 million deal. We lost our core team, but there is brilliant news. We have 147 million to spend, but of course, it's gonna be very hard to convince people to come to the Premier League. And yes, boys, our team has been absolutely raided. We are definitely getting relegated if we don't solve this quickly. And the first order of business, of course, is the center back position, as we can't get anybody higher than a 79 overall. And let me tell you, I found 3 amazing options here in Totti from Wolves, Strujic from Leeds United, and Estevi from Burnley. These are the 3 teams that relegated to the championship. Surely they would want to come to us. Once again, we get rejected by all 3 players, as each of them have their different reason. Estevi's reason is Southampton are one of the worst Premier League sides of all time, and he'd rather go up with Burnley than get embarrassed with this club. And Strujic actually had the exact same reason. He backs himself to go back up to the Premier League and thinks we're going back down. While Totti was a little bit different. He loves Wolverhampton Wanderers and he wants to stay there for the rest of his career. Doesn't plan on leaving. So boys, we need to find somebody else who isn't gonna reject us. And boys, I have an interesting option here in Victor Rice. Yes, I know he's playing for Man City, but I think I have something incredible to offer him. So I bring in Rice into my office and say, look, it's clear that we want you here at Southampton. We just promoted to the Premier League. We know you have bags of potential and I know you would like to stay at City. However, I can promise you in 2 or 3 seasons, I can sell you to a top club where you'll be starting and you won't have to be a loan merchant. Victor Rice says, screw it, let's do it. I'm interested and you taking me to the next level. And what a signing we pulled off for 80 million. Victor Rice is joining the club, but this is gonna definitely help us stay up this season. Victor Rice now joins the club and we need to make sure we don't let him down, but we're still lacking a lot of signings. A brand new right back, a new creative midfielder, or maybe move Dibbling to the middle and sign a right mid. And I can't lie, a brand new striker and maybe even a goalkeeper. But I went ahead and solved all of those position problems. As for the same reason as Victor Rice, I was able to sign Rico Lewis from City for 31.2 and Chris Rick from Sunderland for 23.3 million. I also brought in a goalkeeper and Marcin Bulka for 22 million from Saudi, and he says he wants to be part of the future of this club. And the final player I brought in is a Premier League proven striker in Dominic Solanke for 20 million. He's upset he flopped at Tottenham and would love to revive his career here at Southampton. So this is what the brand new starting 11 is looking like. The one I'm the most iffy about. We know he can score a bunch of goals, but we know he can flop like crazy. But before we move on, Jay Robinson comes into my office and says, look boss, I am not offended at all that you brought in someone like Dominic Solanke. I want to be the future of this club and some competition won't hurt me. I promise you in a couple seasons time, you will make me the starting number 9 for this club. And I can't lie, I do love the ambition from Jay Robinson. If you've enjoyed this video so far, subscribe and comment down below what's smaller teams I should do on the channel. And what is going on? 13 goals for Jay Robinson. It got an injury. He's supposed to be the backup man. 10 and 7 for Tyler Dibbling though. 5 and 4 for Downs. Only 5 goals for Solanke. Seems like he picked up an injury. While the rest of the side wasn't too convincing, but you also have to remember, we're in the Prem now. And this is what the team is now looking like. Everybody growing in overall. Victor Rice now at a 77. Rico Lewis at an 82, even though he has an injury. And someone like Chris Rigg is now at a 77. Remember, we signed these guys with the promise of eventually moving them on. I just hope they don't leave next year. And yes, boys, we just survived the relegation by a couple of points. That is exactly what I wanted. But sadly, we cannot win our first trophy and the FA Cup. And we also failed to win the Carabao Cup, which of course means that players will continue to view this as a stepping stone. And I actually can't believe this. We have 2 players in the team of the season. Jay Robinson and Tyler Dibbling, both of them from the academy. Oh boys, I am worried that they're gonna come and swoop in, or they might want to leave the club. And to kick off season number 3, boys, there's some terrible news. Tyler Dibbling has come into my office and says, "Boss, I am so sorry, but the club is forcing me out of here because they got a big offer from a big club and I don't want to leave, but you know they have more power. So I want to say thank you for bringing me in, and I can't believe they're making me leave." I respond to Tyler, "I'm so sorry this is happening. I wish we had more power, but this club just isn't big enough and they're gonna accept every big offer that comes their way. I wish you luck, and maybe one day if I can take to this team to the very top, maybe I can bring you back." And I completely understand why they accepted. Look at this offer, 100 million from Real Madrid. There goes Tyler Dibbling. At least he's going to the best team in world football. But it's so crazy that he really wanted to stay here. Hopefully one day we can bring him back. However, he wasn't the only one that left, as Rico Lewis wanted to leave, and he already earned a move to Man United for 80 million. Hey, we're making a lot of money, but we still don't have the pool, so we're not even gonna get to take full advantage of all the money that's coming in. Okay, so after all the sales, this is what our team is looking like. When it comes to the back line, I'm pretty satisfied other than the right back position, and I think from now on I'm gonna start Jay Robinson because he's just been overperforming his expectations. But it's very clear that this team needs a lot of work, mainly in that right back position. Another center mid for sure. And I think we need a game-changing winger, as Edozie and Tom Fellows are basic wingers, and we need somebody who is absolutely special. And like I mentioned, we have 200 million, but it doesn't matter. We still don't have the pool to bring in players of that quality, so we're gonna have to try and find people who are down to join us. But luckily, our highest rated player is Bulka, so we can at least try and go for 82 rated players. And I've gone ahead and made the first 3 signings. For 22 million, I brought in Elias Baum from the Bundesliga. For 24.9 million, I signed Hayden Hackney at an 80 overall from the Championship in Middlesbrough. And finally, with the promise of eventually selling him to a bigger club where he will eventually become world class, we have brought back Romeo Lavia from Chelsea for 35 million. And now just take a look at this squad, man. It's looking absolutely incredible. But like I mentioned, I want a game-changing winger, whether it's the left mid or the right mid position. And when it comes to that winger position, we do have 2 options. The first one is Ben Ganondorf from Bournemouth. As already said, he is ready to commit to the Southampton project and wouldn't mind staying for the rest of his career. Of course, only if things go well. However, I was actually able to convince someone like Savinho to join the side. Let me tell you what he said. As he came into my office and says, "Look, I'm not getting into this City starting 11 and I wouldn't mind joining an up-and-coming team. However, I have to become the highest paid player. I cannot promise my future, so if a club comes in the next season or the season after, I will leave. And thirdly, if I don't enjoy my time there or we don't do well, I will leave immediately. But hey, I can promise you results." And boys, this puts us in a very interesting situation. Doak is somebody who said they would stay loyal as long as we continue to improve, while Savinho, he seems a little bit arrogant, but he is a top player, 85 overall. But he can actually drag us to Europe if everything goes well. This is an extremely tough decision. And boys, I have made my decision. For 42 million, I've decided to go for Ben Doak for multiple reasons. He wants to stay loyal. I believe in his ability. And plus, if we would have signed Savinho, his high wage demands would have pissed off a lot of players. But hopefully in the future, we can convince more superstars, but without them wanting to be paid a huge amount. So this is our brand new starting 11, and I cannot lie, I back us to go ahead and stay in the division. Jay Robinson's overall does scare me, but he's been delivering for these past 2 seasons. I'm trusting in him. And it seems to be another great season for this Southampton team. We've really grown a lot in these past 3 seasons. Almost our entire starting 11 is at an 80 overall. Jay Robinson has hit the heights of 77, but where do we finish in the table? And yes, I knew I could trust Jay Robinson. 15 goals, a top goal scorer. She Charles got 10 and 7 when I brought in players to replace him. He's not done just yet. 7 and 8 for Ben Doak, 7 and 12 for Hackney. What a great signing that was. And drastic improvements from the squad, finishing in 12th place. Only 2 points finishing in the high end of the table. We're getting so much closer to our goals and that UCL win. But the FA Cup was won by Arsenal and the Carabao Cup was won by City. We're still gonna be losing players and we still don't have the pool of being a top club in England. And it's another team of the season inclusion from Robinson. This kid is the truth, man. As long as we hold on to him, we are future UCL winners. And surprisingly, in season number 4, nobody has asked to leave or the board hasn't sold anybody. But we do have a lot of players who do not even play minutes in the squad. So I'm gonna get rid of everybody. And yes, boys, I have successfully sold all the deadwood in this entire club. And we have actually raised 122 million once again. But of course, it's still hard to convince players. However, somebody has come into my office and it's long-term servant Samuel Edozie, and he says, look, boss, I've enjoyed my time here at Southampton. I've grown a lot as a player, but it's been so sad to see a lot of my friends go, especially Flynn Downs. I would like to leave the club and join them at Crystal Palace if you don't mind. I respond, man, that really sucks. I saw you as the future of this club. You've been very consistent here, but thank you for everything and I wish you luck at Crystal Palace. So there goes Samuel Edozie for 22 million to Crystal Palace. So of course, luckily, we have not lost a lot of players, only the Deadwood and Samuel Edozie. So I think we should just go for a left mid. And our highest rated player is Ben Doak at an 83 overall. So let's see who we can find. And I have found 2 perfect options. The first one is Mikey Moore. Look at the player he's become. Maybe we should have signed him in that first season. But like Savinho, he is expecting a lot of money and he cannot promise staying at the club, especially because he's about to hit his peak. But what if we went for somebody a little bit more low-key? And Ruben Van Bommel has been in the Eredivisie for a couple years and I'm sure he'll stay way longer than Mikey Moore. And this time, boys, I'm taking the risk for 80 million, the biggest signing I have ever made. Mikey Moore is now joining Southampton, but I hope the wages I do give him does not affect the entire team and we can go ahead and perform so he doesn't leave the club. And boys, just take a look at this starting 11. This team could easily be fighting for the Conference League or Europa League football. This is insane. But up next, the board brings me into their office. They say, what an amazing job you have done. Of course, there has been a lot of new faces, but there was a lot of talent that was not good enough for Southampton. Keep this up and we'll be able to sell a lot of players next season. And Jay Robinson could be another Tyler Dibbling where they fund us another 100 million. I then respond, thank you for the praises. I've worked really hard to ask that you guys try not to sell these players. We're building something special. But as per usual, if somebody leaves, I will do my best to replace them. But no, not again. We finished in 11th place again, man. 51 points, a couple points off 9th place. And I think I know why. Look at all the injuries we have throughout an entire squad. An injury crisis really held us back. But at least the squad continues to go. Jay Robinson now at an 81. Ben Doak at an 85. Victor Rice now at an 80. Really taking his time to grow. Romeo Lavia 83. Mikey Moore 85. But it's another super season for Robertson. 23 goals for him. 7 and 11 for Chris Riggs. 6 and 1 for Mikey Moore. I feel like if it wasn't for the injuries, we would have had an amazing season. And boys, it's another team of the season inclusion for Robinson. I'm so proud of him, but I'm so scared that the club is gonna sell him. And I don't even know if he would want to leave. And we're now in season number 5, but it's back to reality. The board says we have found offers for 2 superstars in this team, and they also wanted to leave. And that is Mikey Moore and Hayden Hackney. They will be leaving the club. However, it's not done just yet, as Wellington, our left back, has come into my office and says, look, boss, I have been a loyal servant at this club, and it actually irked me all of last year that Mikey Moore got a huge contract and somebody like me who's been loyal was never rewarded. So I would like to leave the club. So there we have it, boys. Wellington has joined Porto for 12 million. Hayden Hackney has upgraded to City for 50 million. But Mikey Moore has gone to Liverpool for 109 million. That is completely on my end. If we didn't do well, which we didn't, he was going to leave. But to be honest, I'm very satisfied with all the work we've done with this club. We're back to being a selling Premier League club. But of course, I want to prove to the world that we make the right signings by getting a Ballon d'Or winner. I want to go ahead and win my first trophy so I can bring in some superstars. And obviously win the Premier League so we can stop selling players so we can win the Champions League. But this squad needs some work after the sales. A brand new center mid, a brand new left back, and another brand new left mid. I'm not gonna go ahead and take the risk and bring in somebody with high wages because we got lucky that only Wellington wanting to leave. And our highest rated is Gannon Dog at an 85. But of course, we need to hope that they're playing for a smaller club if we want to get them that high. And boys, I do have some good news. The first 2 signings I brought in, 35 million and 83 overall, Daniel Svensson, who was was at Brentford. For 40 million and 82 overall, Alex Todd from AFC Bournemouth. The club is back to being big enough to poach from other Premier League teams. But of course, we're missing the left mid spot, and the first option is Kevin Schade, who is somehow still at Brentford. He has been playing in the Premier League for years, man. He would be a great signing, and of course, he believes in the future of Southampton. But once again, we're in the situation. Alejandro Garnacho is interested in joining Southampton. Like many before him, he says, I would love to join Southampton. Stuff at Chelsea hasn't gone my way, but of course, I expect a huge wage bill, high performances, and you've seen that I can deliver on the big moments. Now, boys, I know we messed up in the past with Mikey Moore. He was a good signing, but we just failed him. This is Alejandro Garnacho. Came from the Athletic Youth Academy, played at United, and has driven interest from the likes of FC Barcelona. This guy could definitely take us to Europe, but do we take another risk? And no chance I'm taking that risk again. I don't want anybody to leave, so for 40 million, we're bringing in Kevin Schade. He's been a Premier League mainstay, but I believe he could turn into a superstar here at Southampton. And for the first time in this challenge, our entire starting 11 is at an 80 overall and above. I'm so shocked that Jay Robinson is still here and that we've been able to keep hold of Chris Rigg and Victor Rice for longer than like 2 years. But this might be the season we finally getting to Europe. And 24 goals and 1 assist is another brilliant season from Jay. 12 and 11 for Chris Rigg though is not too bad. 7 and 4 for Gannon Dog and 7 and 2 for Schade, although he was injured. And this squad continues to grow at an incredible amount. Victor Rice has grown to an 84. However, we did get a couple injuries, but I'm very satisfied where we're at right now. Hopefully, we finished in a high position. And yes, boys, we have finished in 7th place. Please tell me that is Conference League football. I'm not sure. We just finished below Brighton, above the likes of Man United. But no FA Cup for us this time. We really want to win that trophy, and it's a Carabao Cup win for United. And Jay Robinson is slowly becoming one of the best Premier League strikers, as he was very close to winning his first Golden Boot. And there's 3 guarantees in this life: death, taxes, and Jay Robinson in the team of the season. This guy is nuts, man. And I cannot wait to go into season number 6. I think we might win our first trophy. And to kick off season number 6, Victor Rice and Chris Rigg have run into my office and say, look, we've enjoyed our time here at Southampton, but if you do remember the reason we signed, get to leave when we're ready to go to the next big team. And I think we're ready to finally leave Southampton and take that next step in our career. Thank you for everything. So there they go. Victor Rice has returned to Man City for 65 million. Will he now be a starter? While Chris Rigg for 95 million has gone to Man United. They gave us what we needed and we definitely paid them back. However, the board has come in and says, we got the biggest offer this club has ever gotten, 120 million for Jay Robinson to FC Barcelona. I'm sorry, but it's time for him to go. I then fight back, no, please do not get rid of him. Let's at least ask him if he wants to go. He's been our most important player these past 5 years, and who knows, maybe he wants to stay loyal. Fine, this one time will allow the player to make the decision. So I welcome Jay Robinson to my office and say, look, I'm not gonna hide anything from you. Barcelona have come in for you. I want you to stay. I know you love Southampton, but I am not gonna be here and hold you back. Jay Robinson says, this is a tough decision. I love this club. I fought tooth and nail to get into that starting 11, and I've been shining ever since. And as much as I want to end my career here, I think I have to take this opportunity. I'll regret it for the rest of my life if I don't even try to go for Barca. But take my word for it, if I don't enjoy my time there, I promise I won't go anywhere else but back to Southampton. So there we go. Jay Robinson to Barcelona, 120 million. I'm proud of everything he has done. I'm glad he was part of this club, but it looks like there's a world we win the UCL without him. I just need to make sure I find the perfect replacement. So of course, our team is now looking drastically winger. We need a brand new center back, a new center attacking mid, and of course, the perfect striker to replace Jay Robinson. And once again, our highest overall player is an 85, so maybe we have enough money to just splash the cash and bring in some superstars despite not winning a trophy yet. And I've gone ahead and made those 3 signings, all of them that are playing for top Premier League clubs, but they're not starters just yet. For 41.8 million, I brought in Josh Achampong. For 40 million, I brought in Harvey Elliott from Liverpool. And finally, for 40 million is former Premier League flop Ivan Ferguson. I want to believe that he is the best replacement for Jay Robinson. And this is the brand new starting 11. What I love about this team is that the level just continued to increase. A lot of these guys are now Premier League proven. Now, all we have to do is win a trophy, and we can now go ahead and bring in any player we want. It's gonna be very hard for these players to leave unless a super club comes in for them. And boys, we have a golden opportunity. We are in the FA Cup final against Burnley. If we can go ahead and win this game, we can solve one of our consistent problems, which is being able to bring in superstars to the team after winning our first trophy. And we should be able to. It's only against Burnley. This is what the team is looking like. Can we go ahead and finish the job? And it's a 3-0 victory as Shea Charles and Ivan Ferguson get us our first trophy, which means hopefully starting next season we can bring in better players from bigger clubs than Southampton. And just take a look at what our team is looking like at the end of the season. Everybody barring our 3 defenders here are above an 84 overall. We're slowly becoming a top 6 club here. And what a signing to replace Jay Robinson. 30 goals and 2 assists from Ivan Ferguson. 15-1 for Sade, 11-9 for Lavia, 10-11 for Todd. We are really mastering this team and this formation now. And we also get a 5th place finish, which means we are confirmed in the Europa League. And we actually got our first Golden Boot winner. Ivan Ferguson has changed our lives. But of course, we're still a long way from winning the Champions League, getting our Ballon d'Or winner. But of course, up next, I want to win the Prem. And this time around, we got 2 players in the team of the season. We are slowly making some world-class players here. And to kick off the brand new season, we had some good news as Romeo Lavia has come into the office and says, look, boss, I know when I first joined, I wanted to leave the club, but I would like to apologize. Southampton is becoming a serious club, and I would love to stay here as long as you make me captain. And yes, Romeo Lavia is now the brand new captain of Southampton, which means this is the first player that has been wanting to stay at the club. So maybe soon everybody will follow suit. However, the bad news comes our way as the board tells us we have accepted 2 offers from Baidu and Todd. They fought really hard to stay, but at the end of the day, the money was too much for the club and the money was too much for them, and now they'll be leaving. I say, man, that sucks, but it is nice to know they fought to stay here at the club, meaning this club is becoming something special. So there we have it. Samson Baidu has left to Chelsea for 50 million. He was a long-term servant here at the club, while Alex Toth has gone to Real Madrid for 80 million. He was absolutely incredible. But regardless, I'm still happy with the squad that we do have. One of our issues solved. Hopefully, we can bring in a world-class center back and a world-class center mid to help us hopefully win the Prem soon. And trust me, I've brought in some amazing signings. For 60 million, we brought in Kuzinov, who was now playing at Atalanta at an 86 overall. And for 80 million, we have brought in 87 overall Lucas Bergvall from Tottenham. Oh yes, boys, we're a serious club now. And you cannot convince me that this team will not finish in a UCL place. And they will be competing for sure for the Prem title. And 22 goals and 1 assist for Ivan Ferguson. A little bit slower, but he did pick up an injury. However, the goals were spread out more. 16 for Sade, 15 and 13 for Elliott, 11 and 14 for Dole, and 8 and 15 for Lucas Bergvall. Southampton is a serious club, man. And the growth is looking tremendous. Ivan Ferguson at an 86 overall. Bulka has finally reached a 90. He's been incredible in this save. And everybody else is above an 85 overall. If we did not finish in the top 4, I should be sacked, man. And yes, we have won the Premier League. I did not see that coming already. 86 points, 6 losses, 5 draws. Only by 3 points. That means we finally had the juice to go ahead and hold our players. However, we sadly missed out on the Community Shield, and we did not go back-to-back on the FA Cup. And sadly, still yet to win our first Carabao. And can you believe it, man? Southampton Premier League winners as Harvey Elliott got the player of the season. And look at that, man. I'm so proud of our backline getting into that team of the season. So now that we have 2 problems solved, obviously, we need to go ahead and get a Ballon d'Or winner. But all that there's left to do is to win the Champions League. And to kick off our first season in the Champions League, the board has welcomed me to their office and they say, I cannot believe this. You were the chosen one. You've gotten us from falling down the English division to winning the Premier League. We back you 100% now. Nobody will be sold unless it's up to you. But just be aware, just because you're the Premier League winners, there will still be players that want to leave to the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona and even PSG as well. And yes, boys, they were absolutely right. As player of the season, Harvey Elliott and goal scorer Ivan Ferguson have come into my office and they both say, look, boss, thank you for absolutely everything. We would not be the players we are without you, but we have gotten offers from the best clubs in the world and we would like to leave. I then respond, you know what? I completely understand that. Good luck and thank you for making this club into the best club in England. So there we have it. For 90 million, Ivan Ferguson is joining FC Barcelona, and for 80 million, Harvey Elliott is joining Real Madrid. Even though we won the Prem, they can't say no to those 2 super clubs. And this is what the team is looking like in our first UCL season. It's looking amazing other than the front 2 right here. And I can't lie, boys, I think it's time to bring back Tyler Dibbling, who's at 26 and 91 overall. And Jay Robinson, who's at a 94. His dynamic potential went crazy over there at Barca. So for exactly 150 million, Tyler Dibbling is coming back home. He never wanted to leave and now he's back at the St. Mary's Stadium. And for a whopping 200 million, Jay Robinson is coming back from Barcelona. He tested life outside of Southampton, it worked, and now he's back in our first ever Champions League season. And just like that, our academy graduates are back home, and this might just be the best team in world football. Can we win the Champions League in our first time of asking? And our team is looking absolutely credible at the end of the season. We now officially have 4 players over 90 and 3 more players that are about to hit it, only 1 overall away. And welcome back home, Jay Robinson. 42 goals, 3 assists, 20 and 17 for Bergvall, 17 and 11 for Gannon Doak, 14 and 8 for Captain Lavia, and 8 and 17 for Tyler Dibley. And we've actually won back-to-back Premier League titles, this time by a larger margin. Only 3 losses and 93 goals. And we win our first ever Community Shield. We failed to win the FA Cup, and we failed to win the Carabao Cup. How have we not won it, man? But in the Champions League, we finished in first place. What a great first competition ever. And in the round of 16, we demolished PSV. In the quarters, we beat Real Madrid. And in the semis, we beat Chelsea. We're facing Man City in our first UCL final. This is our first ever time in the Champions League. How are we already in the final? And look whose name is written all over it. Jay Robinson, the top goal scorer of the competition. While City have the likes of Ryan Cherky, and he's their top goal scorer, but Erling Braut Haaland is still there. Leo Sawyer is doing incredible. Even Savinho, the player we almost signed, is still at City. But it's now time for the UCL final, playing at ultimate difficulty. Can we go ahead and make Southampton the world's? But now it's Man City on the ball, gives it into Hayden Hackney, our former player, into Gavardio. Great clearance. And here we go on the counter attack. First attack for Southampton. Kevin Schade on the ball. Brilliant through ball into Jay Robinson. Can he go ahead and make it 1-0? Cuts inside, gets rid of the defender. Jay Robinson with the finesse, and it goes wide. Come on, Jay. And now it falls to Tyler Dibbling, looking to create an opportunity. Gives it into Romeo Lavia. Opens it wide to Kevin Schade. Can we go ahead and take the lead? Gives it to Jay Robinson with the finesse, and it's a great save from Donnarumma again, man. Vitinha gives the ball into Ryan Cherky. Here comes City, looking to take the lead. Brilliant through ball into Erling Braut Haaland. Josh Achapong's holding the play. Gives it to Hayden Hackney. Josh misses the tackle. It's still Hayden Hackney. We go for the slide. It falls into Haaland, and it's gonna be a penalty. And now City have a chance to take the lead here in the UCL final. Where is Haaland gonna go? He goes to them down the middle. It goes 1-0 up. Josh took a huge risk to tackle him, and it has not paid off. But here comes City right before halftime. So you're into early Haaland Bulka. Keeps us only 1 goal down, man. And now in the 62nd minute, Kevin Schade gives it into Jay Robinson, back into Tyler Dibley. Can we find a beautiful through ball? It finds Jay Robinson, cuts inside. Can he go ahead and finish this? It's a beautiful shot. It goes in. 64th minute, we get an equalizer. But now it's Erling Braut Haaland finds Hayden Hackney, and it goes wide. Our former player almost, and that is a UCL win here. Lucas Bergvall gives the ball into Tyler Dibbling, who finds Jay Robinson. And here comes Southampton through ball into Tyler Dibbling. 1v1 to finish up the game, and it goes in. In the 75th minute, Dibbling might have just gotten the winner. And the referee has blown the whistle. Southampton lift the Champions League, becoming the world's best team. And yes, we've gotten a Ballon d'Or winner, and it's Dibbling. Low-key, Robinson Rob. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you're definitely gonna join me and S2G race to the Premier League with the worst teams.